G'day. Well, Nathan, another close one. You just got away from you in the end again. A few things went against you in that second half.
Oh, yeah, look, we were in total control in the first half, and then we obviously kicked quite poorly. I think we put 2 out in the full and sprayed 2 that didn't go anywhere, and then we kicked off out in the full, so we had sort of the kicking game let us down bad, which hasn't been the case for all the boys. Have been kicking the ball pretty well, so we sort of just invited them back into the contest basically. And then in the second half, again, I think we were on top again. I think we'd all agree we were on top, and we got to the front, and then we didn't catch a kick-off. And it's like we try to make it as hard as we can. So we work, some of the boys are working their socks off, some blokes are playing some of their best ever footy, and then we just hand it back over. It's just, and when you're trying to, they're a team a bit down to themselves like us, when you're trying to get going and trying to become a good team, making that very easy for the opposition is not the idea of it.
So the timing of those errors just couldn't have been worse, hey? Like, you could have those ones in 80 minutes. But
as I said, the boys worked really hard to get back on top in the second half, and then we go to the front, and then we do what we do, and then all of a sudden we're under the pump then, aren't we? Under the pump again, they're full of running.
Is that doing that, like the kick-off errors, is that just a mental lapse thing? Like, are they just clocking off for a minute or what?
I probably can't sit into exactly what it is, but it's just a number of things that we did in the contest to make it easy. As I said, we didn't kick very well for a period, which brought them back into it, and then we worked hard to get back to the front. And as I said, there's plenty of boys that are working hard, and some blokes are playing some terrific footy, but we don't get 15 or 17 blokes on the one day. We always have a few blokes that are having a turn of making the game a little difficult for us, and we're not at the stage as a team where we can carry too many blokes.
What about Montoya, mate? What did you make of that sin binning? Are you happy with that?
Look, I thought it was probably a little bit stiff, to be honest. I didn't think it warranted a sin, but it's not why we didn't win the game. Yeah, we didn't win the game because we handed it back over twice on 2 occasions. That's why we didn't win. So certainly not the referee's fault.
Cool. How hard was this week with Matt Lodge leaving? Obviously, you would have started the week expecting, to have him there, and he's gone. I mean, how's the team coped, and yourself? How have you? What do you make of that?
To be honest, the team's coped really well. We knew, players know we got no sort of control of that situation, and the club and Matt did a good job of handling their own business to the side, and it didn't impact the players at all. Obviously, it means that there's opportunities for other guys, and that in that aspect, it created a bit of excitement around our week. I thought the players handled the week really well. We got on with the job, and we had a good week of training. Again, in terms of like out in the game, we felt pretty comfortable. Anytime we got the balls in play and we had arm wrestle, we felt pretty comfortable. It was just key moments where we let the pressure off, and we didn't do a good enough job in defending those next sets.
Are you going to look at the way you recruit in future, Nathan? We've heard a few guys say that they don't want to move to New Zealand. I mean, that's their affair. But I mean, you are the New Zealand Warriors. I'm just wondering, did you change tack with how you recruit blokes into the future based on what you've seen so far?
We've been in a different time. We've been away from home now for nearly 3 years, so it's a unique situation, isn't it? So it's I haven't lived in New Zealand, been head coach and recruited for over there. So generally, like for my personal situation, when I signed with the Warriors, I was moving over there with a family with 4 children. In that time that's happened, I've had one finish school, one start year 12, and so things change when the COVID happens, doesn't it? And people are in that situation, But when you recruit a player and it doesn't work out as it has in Lodgie's case, it's no one's fault but the head coaches. I brought Lodgie to the club and it didn't work out, so that's on me. It's not on the owner, it's not on Lodgie, it's not on anyone, it's on me, So if you've got a bloke moving out of your club that you bring to the club, you've done something wrong. It's no one else's fault but the head coach. If you move players that you didn't bring to the club, that ain't your fault, because you're doing your job to help the club get better. So I take full responsibility for the Lodgie situation.
It felt like you didn't really have control over it, because it seemed like it was a dispute there that you weren't part of. Is that hard?
As I said, I brought Matt to the club. I was the head coach when he came, and it didn't work out. So the full responsibility should land on me, not anyone else.
How hard did you try and convince him to stay?
No, look, I just had a chat, Lodge. I just really want him to make his next club work for him. His best years are coming. That's all I said to him. I said, mate, his best. He was playing some really good footy for us. He was playing really good, consistent footy. I just want him to go to a club where he goes and it works out for him for like a 4 or 5 year block, because his best footy's coming. You know, he's still only 26, and you want to see blokes see it work out for him. You know, unfortunately, it didn't work out here. And as I said, when you bring a bloke to a club and it don't work out, you got to look at what maybe you got wrong.
So I think that's 4 losses now on the trot. How would you assess the health of the club, given that you are kind of getting closer to actually moving back over?
Probably the 3 ways I'd look at it is from, you know, we're a club that's had, I think, 1 finals game in 11 years, so obviously you're trying to do some things to help the club get better, you know. I think our younger players are improving. If you look at Reece Walsh, he's a much better player than he was last year. Marcelo Montoya. You go through a list of players, Wade Egan, there's plenty of blokes that are far better players than what they were 12 months ago. I think our recruitment, you see what's coming next year, you know, we've got some really, really good players coming, experienced players coming. We've got some very, very good young players coming. So recruitment's going good, but winning games and team synergy is not going well enough. And again, that's just over with me, you know. So we've got some really good things happening at the club, but the team synergy and winning is just not quite good enough. And we've had numbers of times we've sat here with, you know, just close losses, and us, you know, obviously affecting our own performance by just not getting some basics right.